Hello. How's everybody doing?
Good evening.
Hey, Sam.
Hello.
Hey, Hassan, how are you?
Oh, good, good. How about you? Good to see everybody.
Actually, apparently, I need my glasses.
Just get closer to the screen. You don't need glasses.
Yeah, Hassan, you look like a pro, man. You got the backdrop and everything.
Huh?
Said you look like a pro. You got a backdrop. You look like a news anchor or something.
Yeah, this is my job. I gotta from up here. It has to look good.
She look cool in this. Pixie.
No, where she goes.
Maybe it's just like one. Hiking boots. I'll never buy that.
He wants to draw.
How about that, Ed? I'm opening up in the window.
Yeah, that's much better. Looks like my old stopping grounds back in Oahu.
Yeah.
No, what? We can't change your background because it's like here, basically, is where it
I want
stops.
to be in love.
All right.
What are the stars of the show?
They're here, but they're mostly just a fireplace at the moment.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Can we get started in like a minute?
Anybody read the Hogan plan? I started like that's too long. just just
Oh, look, Hassan is in like the tropics.
yeah. I'm opening up the window to share with you guys.
Yeah, how's that vacation? Looks like
Yeah.
new palm trees. That's awesome.
Oh, look at Emily's background.
Was that?
Yeah, she's got like Emily's background.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Addie.
Buddy.
All right.
So either people don't want to reopen or they want to reopen. This is like a good time.
Oh my God, there's 2 pages.
I think we have already. We should, I mean,
All right, I guess we should start now. Looks like we have a good sized group, 10, 20, 25. A good number of people. Thank you for coming in today. We wanted to
Okay.
go over a presentation of what the future of the Cove might look like. Wish my hair dried. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen. So you guys can all see it, and then we'll go from there, just going through what things are going to look like.
yeah, I'm sure a lot of you look at PowerPoints all day long. So we're really sorry. It's just, we tend to think best when we write them down, and we know a lot of folks aren't going to be able to be on this. So we wanted to kind of create a leave behind at the same time. But yeah, I think this is a conversation we're excited for. And we've been planning for since the last day of the gym.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, and it's getting, we have enough pieces in place, and there's enough we know about that are going on. Can you just lower the volume on
Oh
that?
yeah, sorry.
We know enough about what's going on that we can start sharing our plans with you. So this is our reentry planning at the CrossFit Cove. Just here where we've actually gone through this presentation and some additional slides with the coaching staff already. So they're well aware of this and on board with kind of our plans that we're looking at in the near future. So before we actually start getting into the actual slides, we just want to thank you guys for supporting us all this time. And also just simply so that we miss you guys. We get to see you guys virtually, not as often as we'd like. But we're really looking forward to seeing you guys in person soon. And we're starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel, and we're getting really excited about that.
Yeah, and I think, the thank you goes, it's for so many things. Emotional support. So many people have reached out to us and said, like, how can we help? What do you need? Some people have offered to do membership sponsors for people who have left. Coaches have offered to give up their pay and still coach virtual classes. Like, it's just been amazing and just so heartfelt, and we're truly grateful. But I will say that this ties to, and our thanks and appreciation, above the emotive and physical side of working out with us, the financial side is really important. And the fact that so many people have stayed with us has allowed us to have a conversation about reopening, whereas many other gyms around the country, some that we've been talking to, just can't do that. So I feel like already we are ahead of the game and have you to thank for that. And to that end, we're going to talk about some things that are, I would call them confidential, we're going to take you through a little bit of behind the scenes on what's going on with the state of the business and membership, and talk about some expenses. And I just ask that we keep this between us. Usually I don't think a business owner would kind of share financials, but we want to let you in a little bit because you've been such a part of keeping us afloat. So just thank you for what you've done, and thank you in advance for what you're about to hear and keeping it quiet.
Okay, so first slide, going into that little piece there is, the good news is we've been able to maintain 70% of our membership since the date that we closed. So we're looking at 40 plus members that we've lost since then. Those are membership levels that go back to 2016 when we were still a very new gym. We opened in 2015. I think it was March of 2016 when we hit 160.
Right. So we left the gym in mid-March with you all at, I think, probably close to a peak of around 200 members, which we would call a healthy gym, right? There's capacity for more based on our square footage. There are other gyms that are similar that have more members, but it was just a very comfortable place for us to be running the gym, managing membership and the classes. And like Brian said, the last time that we were at about 160, I think right now we're at 158, was 2016. So it's almost like today we're not starting over again. I mean, and I don't mean that as a bad thing. It's always great to reinvent, but just from a context perspective, we are from a numbers perspective where we were 4 years ago.
Right. So on to that with that membership drawing, decreasing by 30%, which honestly, we're amazed that it's so little. With all the strife that people are going through right now,
Yes.
Our expenses are going up dramatically. We've been, obviously, we can cut some of our expenses during this downtime, but the expenses of insurance, but most importantly, the expenses of our rent are exponentially higher than they used to be. We actually gave you one number in there, is that our rent is up by $4,000 from when we started. So by 4,000, I mean like $4,000 a month since we started. And it will continue to actually increase. It's always a 3% increase each year, and our taxes always increase. Our CAM, which is the maintenance of the facility, always increased by more than 3%, more like 10%. That number is going to move up year over year.
Right. So again, going back to why are we sharing this, we just want to give you context of what we are facing, kind of just as business owners, and as we lament next steps and how we grow business, but also to say, again, without you guys and the group that is with us right now, it would be a pretty bad situation. And right. I feel like we are at a position right now where when we open the doors and have full schedules and full staff at this level, we would be operating at a loss. But our hope is that people will come back. We will eventually be able to fill the pipeline with new members, or again, lapsed members, And if you have any friends who have been thinking about joining CrossFit, now might be the time.
Correct.
But
There becomes an issue with that, though, is our focus has always been on our existing members. A lot of gyms are actually now reaching out to try and get new people in, and they're trying to sell their Zoom classes to them. But like right now, we're not ready to take on new foundations members because we don't know how to do it safely and appropriately. Before anybody actually comes into the gym, they need a foundation. We don't feel good about just taking anybody in. They have to go through foundations. So the big problem is with these losses is that it's going to be very hard for us to replace them. And I know there's a lot of people think that once you open your doors fully, and we're not opening our, let this understand, we are not opening, after this conversation, we are not opening our doors fully. We have a limited response that's been allowed by the Governor of Maryland. Not everybody's going to be coming back. Those 40 plus members are not going to be coming back. Some of them have moved. Some of them have been furloughed. Some of them have lost their jobs and they can't handle that right now. And more of that's going to be happening over time. So that's just something where replacing those 40 numbers is not going to happen.
And it's not our priority. So again, I threw in a joke about bringing friends in. Like this is about you and this 158 that are in our arms and making sure that every single one of you has what you need to thrive with your fitness, mental health, physical health, any kind of fitness that you come to the Cove for.
Right. I know a lot of people have reached out to us personally, have been texting us about the PPP loans. We applied for the PPP loans. I think we've mentioned this before. Immediately, we actually did get the PPP loan, which extended our runway, which is great. Now, the PPP loan has a lot of constraints for it, really. It's just a loan. So we're going to have to be paying it back anyway. Because of the way our gym works, most of our expenses are from rent, insurance, maintenance. This PPP loan is more focused on staff. And our staff requirements are like really minimal right now.
Right.
So trust me, it will help us. We're very thankful for the government that helped us. We've been in close contact with our landlord about the possibility of doing some sort of deferral or sort of thing. And he has shown some interest, but it has not gotten to the point where we have anything in place. But before we actually close this slide up, we don't want this to be total doom and gloom. Like we are invested in this gym. We decided we were going to do this 5 years ago. Just signed ourselves another 5-year lease. We believe in the mission and we're going to continue this mission.
Yeah,
so
we look at it like
we're still in.
We are all in. We have 160 amazing members who have stuck with us, and it's now what, right? So that's what we're here to talk about. But we just wanted to give you a little bit of context because people have been asking, how are you guys doing? What's going on with membership? And, rather than kind of answer those questions piecemeal, we want everyone to have kind of the same foundational information. So that's where we are.
All right, so let's move on to the next slide.
Fun stuff.
Onto the fun stuff. So what do we know far? What do we know so far? Okay, yeah. So early May, Maryland may slowly reopen.
It's early May.
It's early May, but it's not that early. It's not going to be tomorrow. So federal guidelines had gyms can be opening up in what they refer to as phase 1, the initial rollout. The Governor Hogan has is not following those federal guidelines. Does more stringent guidelines. The phase 1 Maryland plan, which we keep calling is the Maryland Grow Stronger, Reopen the Economy, some sort of political name for it, has gyms opening in phase 2. However, in phase 1, gyms are allowed to have outdoor classes, okay? So that gives us our opportunity to provide some sort of class structure for people that it makes sense for, okay? We're not saying we're giving up all the other online stuff. We're gonna be providing multiple options for people, but we know that there is a population that needs to get into a class for their own psyche, for their own fitness. If there's anything that this crisis has taught us is that investing in my fitness is important for my life and for the life of my family. So we want to provide that option for people, and that's going to be going over the next couple of slides. Phase 2 will likely take at least, I'm going to emphasize there, at least 2 weeks. I would not be surprised if it's longer. Just knowing how Maryland and how Governor Hogan works, and we are fans of Governor Hogan, we're just going to have to wait and see. Now, this brings up a really important point about this entire discussion of doing some sort of soft, controlled outdoor opening at the gym for a short period of time, okay? and that's the emotional and physical needs of our members. So our goal is to provide as many options for our members what they feel comfortable with. And we want to provide options for everyone. We want to do what's right for you and respect the decisions of everybody else in the community. So for you, you might not feel safe coming in, and that's fine, and we respect that, and we encourage that, and we're going to support you with that. You, however, might be a person where, like, if I can go outdoors and throw a barbell around and see somebody else do it, that means everything for me, and I want to do that. I respect both of those parties, and I want to service all of them. And that's their decision. I want them to respect my decisions, and I respect their decisions as well. And I'm hoping that is true for the entire community. I think there's a tendency in this kind of politically, I don't know, this political climate right now, there's just a lot of bit of backbiting or stuff like that. Let's just respect everybody's choices. There's a lot of judgment. You have kind of a great way, and this is kind of something that's coming to us from Hogan. And he, you know, I don't know if you want to talk on that part.
Yeah, but I think, you know, when, like, so some of this might seem really common sense at the end of the day when you read it, but like we debate and argue and talk about and share with professionals, with the coaches, every single nuance of every point. But I think if we were to kind of like boil the ocean, like everything we looked at and talked about was through the lens of our most, I call them the most critical, concerned and unsettled member. So somebody who's super nervous to come back, or maybe lives with a grandparent, or, you know, who is the person who is going to have the hardest time coming back to a place and to people. So we've tried to keep that person in mind as we go through our kind of thoughts on how this could look. So just know that there was a lot of conversation.
There's a lot of conversation.
We're still married.
Still married.
Although Tracy Perrick, we might need you at the end.
All right, here we go. Boy, it's hard to actually read this. So, and this goes back to the original mission of the Cove. The original mission of the Cove was to provide fitness for everyone. That people of all ages, all sizes, all fitness levels could come together. And the fact that we have all these different people, mothers, daughters, sons,
military
athletes, retirees, high school students. Okay, if they all came together and worked out together, that it would be a synergistic environment where we all kind of lifted each other up. Okay, and if we could all be there working together, it would help us all achieve those goals. Okay, and that was our mission from the opening of the Cove. Now more than ever, that's true. And it means options and it means choices. So we're going to be providing both options and choices for everyone. And this goes back to the original thought we're really trying to get to everybody. And this is our big belief going into this, is we will respect everyone's beliefs. We ask that you do the same for everyone else in the gym.
Right. Everyone's got a different opinion on if it's too early, it's too soon, you're not opening soon enough, I can't believe they're doing this, I can't believe they're not wearing that. I just, you know, I think the Cove has always been the sanctuary for fitness and relief. And, you know, we don't talk about politics, we don't talk about religion. The only debates we have are no bulls, Metcons, nanos, right? That's the kind of stuff that we keep.
That's our focus.
That's our focus.
That's our sweet point.
So the same.
Okay. Next slide.
So when Hogan rolled out his strategy for these 3 phases, and if you haven't seen them, they're on the government's website, and it's pretty articulate, but the way he talks about his prescriptive for rolling out, he uses the pillars of they need to be well thought out, gradual, safe, and effective. And I am never one to pick up a politician's kind of verbiage. I think that sometimes they're not that creative, but I think these are really great guideposts for us as we look to roll out plans. Are they well thought out? Hell yeah. Are they going to be gradual? Yes. Are they going to be safe as we can possibly make it, and effective? We want it to work for everyone. So we've been looking inside and outside the industry for best practices. We've been talking to people who own everything from construction companies to restaurants to salons, to big office and big offices and corporations. We've also been talking obviously to every coach along the way. And we had our first fully staffed coaches meeting. We always have like 10 out of 12 show up. We had 12 out of 12, and we talked for hours and went through a lot of this. So please know that, you know, you can talk to any of the coaches about this. They've seen it, a version of it, and talked through it. So they probably can answer questions if you forget to ask something of us, but again, always follow up with us too. We are exchanging ideas with other CrossFit gyms. Obviously, we have a relationship with Gio Rockwell, who owns Harbor East and Fed Health, so we're in lockstep with him. But we also have friends who have gyms across the country, and we also are part of affiliate networks where they are constantly sharing rollout plans, operating procedures. We were tight-knit with the teams in Georgia who were the first to open. So even though they're on a different kind of schedule than us in terms of like opening physical space versus, you know, Hogan, I think is a little bit more restrictive in terms of like indoor access at this point. That's okay. We're just ripping apart everybody's playbook and stealing whatever we can and figuring out what works for us. We also have been talking to medical professionals and people who are epidemiologists. And I think, you know, the great thing is we have tons of those in the Cove, and we've tapped into a lot of that in intellect. And then we have a lot of personal relationships that we've been filling from the outside as well. So I feel like the inputs have been extraordinary. And now we're excited for the next level of input, which is you guys, and the most important part of making this come alive. So we're going to take you through some thoughts about what all of those inputs have kind of led to. And we are going to send you a survey right after this meeting that we're going to ask you to fill out. It's fairly basic, but there are some open ends that you can kind of like, you know, wax poetic about how you're feeling, but it'll really help us make decisions, especially logistically, I think, on how to best proceed. So
that survey will be in the blog tonight. You notice the Monday blog's not up yet. When we're done this call, we're going to upload this video. The links are there for the survey. Like I said, we'd like to get your input. If you notice, this document is called planning. Okay, we're still making decisions. We're just giving you where we stand right now as far as executing an outdoor Cove class. So first thing is, let's talk about the scheduling for the classes. The classes themselves, we're used to an hour class. These are actually limited to 45 minutes. And the reason why is because we need to be able to take care of the equipment. We need to be able to clean it, make sure it's good. We need to be able to transition one class in and one class out.
let's talk. This is day one.
So this
right?
is day one.
So let's pretend Hogan says, because on May 12th, we're opening, right? And let's play it out, right? On the first day that we can open, we plan to be running classes outside, right? That's the first possible
under the guidance of the governor. So if we have everything in place that we need, then we'll do it. Right.
So he said early May. So it's already early May. I know that the governor of Virginia is speaking tomorrow, and I think Hogan and that and the Virginia governor are fairly lockstep. So I'm interested to see what that communication is. But their continuance is until at least May 8th. So we're assuming it probably won't be before May 8th, earliest the 10th. But that's right around the corner. So
it's 10th Friday.
It's usually a Friday.
It's usually a Friday.
It's usually a Friday or Monday that it opens.
Yeah, it's usually a Friday or a Monday when they open. So 45-minute classes, they'll be spaced apart by an hour 15. They're going to be weather dependent. So if it rains, I can't have a whole bunch of equipment outside. So that's going to be an issue. We're going to have as many ways of communicating if class is going to go or not going to go. But if you start seeing it's raining, it's most likely not going to happen. Although we'll see what we can do. Initially, our initial thoughts are 4 classes per day. That's initially. We're going to get more information from these surveys, and we're also going to get more information when we start running the actual classes. We may have to cut classes, we may add classes. A lot also depends on coaching personnel and equipment. Also depends on the size of the classes. Our initial thought is 8-person classes. Maybe it's going to be more, maybe it's going to be less. After that initial day or 2, we're going to have a better feel of what can we safely handle under the parameters that we have. During all this, and we keep reiterating this, we're offering you guys choices. We're not going to be taking away the Zoom classes or the pre-programmed classes. They're still going to be out there. for the at-home
Right. So for
athletes.
those who want to come in, there will be an option. For those who want to work out at home, there will be an option, right? Okay.
All right, next slide. So that's our schedule. Like I said, our schedule's still to be determined. There will be a chance for you guys to ask questions. Also, if you want to there is a chat function in Zoom. So if you want to throw up a question now, feel free. We will get to your questions.
I would also say our schedule will not mimic our current schedule exactly. So in the survey, you'll see we're asking like day part questions, like what are your best windows from like 9 to 11, from 1 to 3, 5 to 7, just to get a sense of where people would be falling during times of the day. We can't start classes before 9 a.m. because there are neighbors outside. So we play music, we drop weights. So while we would love to have a 7 a.m. class, we can't do that. The landlord is allowing us to use the side parking lot as fully as we want.
As of right now.
As of right now.
We still have some things to clarify, but it sounds like we're in.
It sounds like we're in. So, so it's a really nice big space. So it allows us some really nice flexibility that a lot of other people don't have. So we feel lucky for that for sure.
Okay, classroom setup. Classes will be done at the side of the gym, okay? So where the side door is. So we're gonna ask that you guys park in the front. There'll be a check-in area set up. So it has like a cleaning station and a whiteboard for the workout of the day. So there'll be a chance for you to do any hand cleaning. We'll have some sort of sanitizer, some wipes for you. There'll be a coach there. Or most likely by me bringing her a hold in. And we'll welcome you in. There'll be a series of coned off lanes for the athletes. It's going to be a greater than that 6 foot distance that's required. There will be an equipment area for the equipment for that particular day. There are going to be cleaning stations. There's going to be a couple cleaning stations throughout that area as well. So that's what it's going to look like. There'll be a centralized clock for actually to watch the times of the class. So that's what it's going to look like.
It actually sounds like competition day. Like as you're saying it, it's like you check athlete check-in.
It's athlete check-in.
Lanes are marked, equipment's out. So
yeah,
it's cool.
So from there, pre-class, athletes will have to sign up for class in advance. And once again, we're capped at 8 to start. You'll be able to do that through Wodify. I've got the stuff from Wodify itself. I have to do some testing on my end. But to start we're gonna cap the classes at 8. How much, when the class time is released, what that window looks like, we still don't have an answer for that yet. But you'll know. It might
be just when the blog is released at 8 o'clock the night before. I mean, we'll come up with a standardized time that
usually the way it works with Wodify, though, it's a number of hours past. It's a number of hours prior to that class. So it's like 12 hours before or whatever. We'll figure that out. So you will sign up online prior to class. With that said, if you sign up online, we're going to ask that you come. If you don't, well, you're taking away that class time from somebody else. And at 8-person classes, I think we're going to, at least initially, we're going to have full classes. So we're going to ask that you come. Or you got to give us a cancellation with a certain amount of time ahead of time. How we're going to handle that if we see too much of like last minute cancels, we're going to have to figure that out at another point, but we're not quite there yet. All right, so once again, we ask that you arrive 5 minutes early, ideally. There's a greeting area. From there, you're going to have an athlete temperature check. 2 weeks ago, we ordered the laser thermometers. We have been ordering things for weeks because we know to get them on back order. So like, Limbicide. We have some bleaches that will literally melt your bones. Like it's the kind of things that the mob uses to kill people. But we also order, besides that, we ordered some laser thermometers. So I literally can like put it on you and it'll give them a response within like
And
seconds.
I don't want to make anyone, we don't want to make anyone uncomfortable by taking temperatures, but we want to rather make people comfortable who wouldn't come unless there were temperature checks. So we're not trying to be invasive at all. We're just, again, looking at things through the eye of our most critical and unsettled and concerned member. So.
The right board right now, so you can kind of check out the work it is ahead of time. You might be able to ask a question about it. From there, the coach, well, whoever's manning that whiteboard or that greeting area, he's going to assign you a lane. So you might say, okay, I need you to go to lane 3 and pick up your barbell and the plates that you'll expect for that particular day. There'll be an area for you to sanitize your hands. We're going to ask that your athlete brings their own mat and a water bottle daily, and a jump rope if we're looking at double unders for that particular day. Bathrooms, we're going to ask that you not use the bathrooms, but there's emergency. We're going to say go for it, but just understand, like if you use the bathroom, then one of us is going to go in after you. We're going to have to clean the door going into the front door. We're going to have to need to clean all the surfaces within the bathroom.
And let's just reiterate, this is phase 1 that allows for outdoor classes only. This is just a unique bridge time that.
Right, but I do think when we hit phase 2, some of these requirements.
I would say try to pee at home. I mean, if you can.
Try and pee at home, and like there's some great trees in that outside area. Some fantastic trees. So
target practice for the tires.
Target practice for the tires. Oh no, don't pee in the tires. We may need to use those. So do not pee in the tires. Bad one. All right, so that's what our pre-class procedure looks like. Then to the actual class structure. Now we're going to try and maintain as much as we can of what made the Cove great into those class structure to give you that true Cove experience. And the Cove experience is like social and interactive and fun, and we think we can still do that. We're just going to have to be a little bit louder when we're talking to one another. We're going to start with a quick whiteboard talk. We're even going to, I even really encouraging, we want the icebreakers right in the front because we want people to connect. We're going to go through a warm-up. We're going to go through a workout. And you're going to have a cool down.
It should feel like class.
It should feel like class. It should feel like class. After safety, laughter, and community above all else, that is our big thing. And there's nothing to say that you can't be safe and still laugh and still be connected. Like those things can coexist. The demands on the safety are not that bad. You literally just have to have your temperature check coming in. We can handle that. You can be just a little bit farther than your neighbor. So that's what the class structure is going to look like. After class, athletes are going to go to a designated area and they're going to disinfect our equipment. We have the appropriate disinfectants. There's a ratio of water to the disinfectant. What we're going to do is we're going to set up ourselves bottles or stations for cleaning those, drying them down when they're done. We may have multiple stations. We may be able to drop bottles on each individual lane. We may have to say like lanes 1 and 2. Lane 1, go to station 1. Lane 2, go to station 2. We're still working on the details. A lot of it's really depending upon the amount of equipment we can get in time. And like I said, we've ordered this weeks ago, and we don't know how much. I mean, we may still have 2 more weeks till this happens. But I do think it's going to happen. We have a no loitering line. We want you to hang out. We just might need you to leave the side of the gym. Just because we have another class coming in, and we don't want people being concerned like, well, we have a 10-person class, now it's a 20-person class because 10 people are hanging out and 10 people are coming in, and it can be a little bit difficult.
Yeah, you can hang out by PC test all day.
PC
bring
test.
the chair, sit 6 feet apart.
You can bum a cigarette from those guys.
Yeah, there's always somebody smoking on the side. You got it.
Yeah. The coaches will be there. They're going to be a presence for cleaning up, and they can assist you. But really, we're asking that the members help us with the cleanup. And from what we're seeing, it's really not that terrible. It's not that terrible. Step one on your retail transactions. Just if you have to, we don't want people touching gear. I don't even know if we are going to do retail. We're still kind of figuring out that's low on our list of things that are important.
Right, but if you want to know too, we'll go get it for you.
We'll get you. We got to know too for you.
But if you're like, oh, I want to try on all these different T-shirts, can you come with me? Like maybe not.
But as always, we're going to do the best we can to service you guys. All right. Now here's the big thing. For this to happen, we are going to need equipment redistribution. So this is how it's going to work. We're going to ask when we get an idea of what our open date is. Roughly 48 hours. As our guests, we're going to open up some windows for people to return the equipment they have loaned. So we're going to take in all the equipment we have. We're going to make sure how much we have. We're going to clean it. We're going to ask them to bring it to us clean. We're going to clean it again. Just so you know, we're going to clean it with our sterilized solution, our sterilized spray bottles and solutions, dry them and get them ready for that. We're not taking all the equipment. We're taking enough equipment to handle the classes. For those people that are still not comfortable to come in, we're then, as soon as we got the equipment in, we're sending it back out. Not all of it, but a good amount of that.
Right.
And we're, like I said, we're expecting a really quick turnaround time on this.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about this. So like based on our like research, typically 50 to 60% of people are anxious to come back to classes at other gyms that we've seen.
So we saw in Georgia. That's what the numbers
And
gave
some
us in
other
Georgia.
polls from other, well, yeah, and polls that happened in other states, like pre-polling. So that means that we need half the equipment or 3/4 of the equipment to run, gender imbalanced classes. So we talked a lot about this, about just recalling some of it enough to run a class of 10. But there's no fair way to say, all right, there are 30 barbells out there, we want those 10 back. You know what I mean? So, it'll be a little bit of a logistical ask to get everything in, inventory it, make sure we have 100% of the equipment back. But that's when we know 40% of you will probably say to us, look, I'm not comfortable coming. And that's okay. Again, we want to serve everyone. We want to have a class experience that feels like a class and it feels like a Cove CrossFit class at the gym outside. But we also want you to be able to work out and do the home workouts. So that we will come up with wide windows for equipment returns where you can come in, or if for some reason you cannot make it there, we can make arrangements maybe to come pick up. We can be flexible. But again, that's where we want to have the honest conversations and say, like, if, that's okay if you don't want to come back. We get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you can only come once a week and that that's only on a Monday, because you have work commitments the rest of the week.
We'll take care of it.
We'll figure it out. So again, we want to help every single one of you based on your circumstance.
Because I can't on mine.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And our last one. Just looking to the future, just some things that besides just this class structure we're looking to. First of all, gym improvements are underway, and we're continuing to invest in equipment. Despite having some financial problems here, we still need to invest in some equipment, particularly with the eye that eventually going to open our indoor classes, and we need to be able to keep our distances and have the capacity to service it. So we might have to buy some new rollers of wall balls. We might have to move some things. We might sell actually a couple of things
To create more space.
to create more space. Because our big thing is how can we maximize those classes while maximizing the distance as well.
And at least, I think we talked about this on our last call, so if anybody missed that, we were looking at, I think it was 18 by 12 foot squares. So 3 mats by 2 mats. And we counted out with the space in the gym already earmarked for equipment, we can comfortably fit about 18 to 20 on that matted space.
And
if
that's
we spread out.
assuming on the matted space though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables again when we start moving things around.
Right. But I guess what I'm saying
We're going to the rig,
is that, interior, we are blessed with space. We are blessed with a big space outside for phase 1. We are lucky to have a big space that can accommodate a group of people. Right. I have a question. Hassan's on fire. Can you go to the bathroom if it's a deadlift day, or are we just not doing deadlifts anymore? We might get a porta potty.
Number 1 or number 2? Number 1 or number 2? Don't get back to me on that.
All right. Will you be required to wear masks during the workout?
Who can wear masks?
Will you be required to wear masks during the workout if you're an athlete?
We're waiting for guidance from the governor. I do not believe so.
Right now, the guidance from the governor is when you are inside a retail facility right. or in a public, like kind of crowded space, that you need to wear one. And again, I can see if this has changed, and if anybody has any more information, please type away. But for outdoor exercise right now, I know Anne Arundel County, I thought statewide, you do not have to wear a mask. Outside, if you're exercising outside. So if we are exercising outside at a greater distance than social distancing rules require, you should not be required by the state to wear a mask.
Obviously, you can wear one if you want
Obviously, you can wear one. But if we are 12 feet apart, spaced appropriately, I don't see a reason that we would have to force someone. I think it would be by choice. Right. If we hear in the survey that makes you incredibly uncomfortable, please say so. And that's something we would want to know. We just know how hard it is to CrossFit anyway. And the CrossFit was a mask. Yes. What else? Attitude. Oh, wait list. What if there's a wait list for a class? Will that open up at a certain time? Has Spotify talked to you about that, or is that?
I'll have to talk to them about that. There may be. Let me look into that. That's a great question. I am 90% sure that they do allow wait list.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about squat racks or open gym time at the?
Let's just hold on for a second, okay? Because that's actually the last one right
Yeah.
here. Okay. Let me just keep going through. I will answer more questions, and please keep your questions coming. As of right now, nobody's in the gym. We're still cleaning the thing. So we're cleaning the gym. We've been doing some updates as far as paint. We've been scraping the rust off of some things. We're doing some.
The rig is like.
The rig is immaculate.
Spotless.
The rig is immaculate. I'm gonna drop right to number 4. Murph, the rig is ready for Murph. Murph is the third week of May.
I don't know the date.
I don't know the exact date. If you've been doing some of the at-home workouts, Dana's program is definitely preparing us for Murph, and we are hopeful that we can do something for Murph. But I'm not sure if it can. But if we were able to get inside, we would certainly have some theoretical series of waves of people coming in. This could be something we push down to another day. This could also be something that's done as an outdoor class and we're subbing out pull-ups for something else. Murph is kind of a great event and I don't necessarily want to lose it. It just might be moved. So it's the 25th.
Isn't it the 25th? Yeah.
It's the 25th.
I think. Or, yeah. Right, but we'll do our best to make
We're going
it happen.
to do our best to make it happen. But the rig is ready for Murph. Other things we're really looking to phase 2. Some of the things, one of the big things we're excited about getting outdoors is we can start communicating the structure of how classes have to look as far as social distancing, developing positive habits with all the members and the coaches to make it work. So we're getting ready for phase 2. But right now we're just really focused on phase 1 and making it happen.
And I think we're going to learn a lot in phase 1 about how to run those classes with these separations. And we're going to take all of our best practices from our phase 1 and apply them to phase 2 inside, right? I mean, that would be a natural progression. I was asking about open gym outside. So like, let's say you're on a wait list. Are you good?
Yeah, we're gonna. I'm sorry, that's
Okay.
one more down.
Sorry.
So next one on our slide is we're taking lessons from current practices. So meaning is we've learned a lot during the quarantine as far as socializing, connecting with people. I think we've learned a lot of really good things during it. And we're going to want to continue those. So we'll be continuing the virtual class and things like that. A lot of the communication computers, some of the events like the happy hours
Cooking
and
classes.
the bake-off is going to happen, guys.
Yeah.
Like the bake-off
In
is going to
person.
happen in person so people can actually eat the cake. And this is something I'm really excited about. Okay, to the question open gym. So we are looking into open gym areas. And by open gym areas, I mean both inside and outside. So I'm going to see how and we are going to be moving really quickly. Like if I find on Tuesday, we can expand classes, I may expand classes. If I'm looking on Tuesday, I can maybe create an open gym area outside. I'm going to do it. So we're going to try and move really fast on trying to improve things along with this process. So we may create like a little open gym area outside. So 2 squat racks, and there would be maybe a rower. There may be, it's hard, but we may try and throw out a couple of mats. They're about 100 pounds to carry, but we could throw out some mats for people that are doing Olympic lifting. We're looking into that possibility where like, I can't make class, can I go to open gym? Now, the thing is, I have to keep that area socially distanced as well. So what I would end up having to do is I would end up creating like at 9:30, like let's say class at 9:30, there would also be a 9:30 open gym that would allow 2 to 3 people that could use that space. This is something we're looking to experiment. We're going to be running some test drives over the coming days.
Right.
And
one of the data points that we looked at was an average full day, right? So at our peak, when we have 200, like when we came out of March, the whiteboard had maybe 75 people per day.
We assume with the number of people that don't sign up, we're looking for an average of 85.
85.
Depends on the day.
Let's call it Monday.
95.
95 people usually come on a Monday.
95 people come on the Monday.
How many people come on a Thursday? 17.
I'm
Just kidding.
It's 7:30. 75, 65 maybe.
Yeah. So between 75 and 95 athletes come to the Cove a day. So for this first phase one, if we're accommodating 30 to 40 athletes in a 40-ish athletes a day, that's half of our normal. We've lost 30%. You know what I mean? Like, you do the math,
Right.
and it's not. We don't anticipate people getting shut out of classes often, but if that is happening quickly and something we recognize, I think what we're saying is we can be nimble and make adjustments very quickly.
Correct. We're going to make it, but assuming that we can still have to hit the safety parameters that we require.
We will always follow the law. Let me just say that. As much of a rebel as I like to think I am, we will follow the governor's orders. And if they say no more than 10 people, even outside, we're going to cap it at 10, or 9 and a coach, or whatever the number is. But if they say, hey, if you're exercising outdoors and you can be 20 feet apart, you can have a class of 20, then it goes to athlete preference, coaching comfort. But we are going to be as flexible as we can within the law. Okay.
So those are some things we're looking to the future wise. So the survey will be up on the Daily Watt page pretty soon. I'll be putting it up on Facebook and other places as well. The goal is to solicit feedback on your attendance plans, your comfort level, your class availability, how often you plan on coming, just so we can get a better understanding of how to schedule class times, how much equipment do we need, things of that nature. So please, questions. If we have any more additional questions, we'll stay here until we've answered them all.
You want to take off the presentation and just
Yeah, I
so you can
do.
see faces?
I do.
Or,
In fact, do you have a camera? Take a picture of the screen.
Yeah.
So stop share.
how do we sign up for our class? Spotify.
Oh my God. How many people?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hang on. I gotta take another
I
one.
need some sound. You guys look awesome. Phone. This is awesome.
This is great. This is great.
Anybody bold enough to take off mute and ask a question? Or
Yeah, you
say
can.
anything?
Can we have classes in the high school like we did before? Those were fun.
Hassan, one more time, buddy. Couldn't hear you.
We have those classes in the high school gym like we did toward the end.
Oh, not the high school gym. You're talking about the track?
I mean, I'm sorry, the track. Yeah, the field. Yeah, those were fun.
That's definitely a thought.
But right now they're the side of the gym. Right? Are you asking in addition to, or is
No, just instead, because if that's going to allow for more people, I think that might be a good option.
I mean, there are a couple of things there, Hassan. Like, I know talking to another gym owner, like he's really struggling in the sense that he does not have a parking lot. So he needs to go to a park. And apparently every Tom, Dick, and Harry is actually going to that park. So it's
so it might be.
Right. And now they're also having problems where like the cops are going because now it's like beyond capacity.
Yeah.
So,
Actually,
but
that's all locked up.
literally one of the first things I'm going to do is like check out, where do we go? Oakland Mills? Check Oakland Mills out.
schools are closed, so we have to.
All the schools are locked up.
We're going to check out Oakland Mills to see if the track is available.
Katie,
All
were you saying
the school tracks are locked up.
But once they open up, I'm sure they will.
I was going to say what he said. They put up gates and locks on the openings of all the schools.
Right.
It's all your fault.
Because of Katie, yeah, she's been all over this.
No, I mean, the good news is, like, if you look at our parking lot, I mean, it has to be from in between us and PC Test, like the back half of the parking lot has to be 30,000 square feet. I mean, it is a tremendous space. So if outdoor gatherings are, we have to wait to see what the guidance is, but we can get creative for sure. We have the space. I don't know. I mean, I'm encouraged by the questions like, oh my God, what if I get locked out? Or, oh, like, it sounds like there's an appetite to like be in a class setting. Am I falsely reading that from some of this, or?
No, absolutely. I at least speaking for the two of us, definitely ready to get back into a class.
Awesome.
Okay, great.
That's great.
So I just want to ask a couple of questions. So I asked again, how do we sign up for class? May I miss early? Yes, you are going to sign up via Wodify. And we are assuming that there will, 90% sure there is a waiting list. I just haven't tested it yet. I had a great question here. The early morning crew. So we're probably not going to be able to have an early morning class, meaning like a 5:30, 6:30 a.m. class. And the reason why is it's just
the outdoor restriction. There's an apartment. There are houses right next to that side of the parking lot, and we've had noise complaints from the residents there. So it's a noise issue. It's not a coaching availability issue or a space issue. It's a permitted. I think that no loud work is allowed to happen in a commercial place before 9 a.m. I think that was the rule that we had talked about. Okay. But we wish we could.
So the morning classes, would it be showing preference for lending out equipment for somebody like that? We would. Yeah. We would. I mean, if you're a person like, I can't make class because you don't have a 5:30 a.m. Absolutely, we're going to try and find a work for you. Oh, thank you, Alyssa Hauser. Can you purchase equipment since you can't get it anywhere else? Yeah, maybe. You also might be able to just borrow it. But let's talk about that individual basis as we're getting closer to it. I can talk to anybody individually if you're looking to buy equipment. Right. I mean, right now I'm trying to get equipment. I can't get it. Rogue is out. Like, even me as a gym owner that's given them enough money, like I am not on any priority list at all.
So, but the follow-up question for the early morning is phase 2. Like, once gyms are open, and hopefully this is we're talking about a 2 or 3 week bridge in phase 1 with outdoor classes. When classes are open, we expect to resume a normal schedule with a 5:30 a.m. class, right? I mean, this is, if our gym is allowed to be open, the plan is to go back to as close to a schedule as we can.
Right, but we're still rigorous. Right, as close to rigorous. Right, as we can start going inside, we don't have the noise restrictions. And you also, the other big thing too is it's like hauling all the equipment, getting it prepared ahead of time. Like, it takes a lot. It's going to take a lot for us to actually handle that. There's a lot more work.
Phase 2, once the gym opens, and if the law is that you can operate classes inside a space, yes, we are 5:36. That we're back to. I mean, we'll have to look at the separation between classes. It still might be 45 minutes, or we might start on a 15-minute stagger. We're going to learn a lot in phase 1 of how long it takes to transition classes and clean equipment. But our hope is to get as quickly back as legally allowed to a regular schedule as possible.
Right.
We want normalcy. I mean, we want this back. I mean, gosh, just as much as you do.
Right.
Specific time the class will be released to sign up. We talked about, yes, classes will have a specific time
to sign
up. We just don't know what that specific time is.
So generally, I haven't tested it out. I can do it now because, yeah, I can do it. It's basically like, oh, you got the 8 a.m. class, then you can sign up at 8 p.m. the night before. It would be something like that. We have not established the hours of that, but I like where your heads are, people. You definitely sound like you're trying to get in as soon as possible.
Yeah, but you don't want people to write an app to sign up as many times, so it's got to be like a pool. It's like.
Yes, please be considerate of everybody else. Don't sign up for all 10 classes being offered that day. All right, what else do we got here?
First equipment. Yeah, you answered that. We can't sell equipment because we need it. We need our equipment.
We need our equipment.
We can loan it.
We can loan it.
Class setting.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so it's running at 5:30 in Zoom.
Okay. Specific time class will be released. Sign up. Okay, good. Getting back to the normal routine. Oh, great. 5:30 in the morning. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Go to research.
Yeah, we want to get back to as quick, as safely as quickly. I mean, safety is always going to be first. Following the law is always going to be first. But I mean, you guys know, like, Brian teases me all the time. Like, I was built for this crisis. Like, I mean, I like that buy button on like chemicals and like sanitizing is like, it's like Christmas, for me every day. So like, we're gonna bring in extra help. We're gonna hire outside people. this the safest possible environment. And I think that when we left, the few days right before we shut down, we were in a really good groove of nonstop, round the clock sanitizing. The athletes were all in a place where they were doing their part. It seemed to be working. So I think if we can harness that kind of effort that we gave right before shutdown, it'll be great. And I feel like I'm already sensing there's a lot of excitement to come back. So I feel like we will trust everyone will do their part to make sure it's as safe as possible for those who might not be as who might be more nervous. So, but yeah, so I mean, unless anybody has any intel on a date, we're assuming like sometime between the 10th and the 14th.
At one time I heard a firefighter had said it was like the 6th.
But that would be like
that's
not happening.
It's not happening tomorrow.
But it could be not this Monday, next Monday. It could be like, you know, we're prepping.
We're trying to get ahead of the curve. We want to be ready. We want to be ready, and we want you guys to be aware of what's going on. So you guys can make an informed decision on what your next plan is. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions?
Oh, I have another comment too, just about like cleanliness. There's a lot of stuff at the gym. There's bags, there's like wrist wraps and like things that haven't been touched in a really long time. I'm probably going to do like just a cubby clean out. In the short term, it's really hard to clean around people's things. So I'll probably create like a shelf for like weight belts if people are comfortable leaving it there. But I think for the short term, we're going to have to keep cubbies to day use only. So just so we're not constantly cleaning around. So just stay tuned for more of like your equipment management.
We're looking into actually some, do you want to tell them that too?
And we're looking into lockers. It's more personalized space where you can keep your own jacket and keep everything separate so people don't have to touch or move your bag out of the way. Again, we want to make this as ergonomic and easy and efficient.
Margaret just had a great question. I'm shocked. I forgot to mention this earlier. Childcare. We can't. Legally, I don't think we can.
Oh, in phase 2, she's asking.
In phase 2?
If phase 2 is allowed, there will be childcare. We want to get you back with kids as soon as we can.
Right. We're depending on the guidance. We're depending on the guidance of the governor.
So what I would say was just like when we left the gym last phase, kids were not. The last few days we said no kids on the floor. We don't want them touching rings and equipment. We would ask that to be true coming back, of course.
But we'll manage sitter.
But
one of us or
we'll be in the sitter room. We will be available, and that is something we absolutely want to add back as soon as we are legally allowed.
And Margaret, happy birthday! Happy birthday to Margaret! All right, happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
That's a great question. I'm sorry we didn't address that.
Yeah, it's on a list.
And if you want to bring to outdoor classes, if you want to bring your child and tie her to a kettlebell outside, like, you can do that and take a class. Stroller, park somewhere. Outside will be interesting.
So after this, the presentation, well, first of all, the Zoom call will be uploaded. We are going to upload the presentation. So if you want to look at any of the slides over again, and there also will be the link for the survey as well. And I'm going to put that stuff on the Facebook group as well.
Yeah. Thanks for all the time. Thanks for the feedback.
There was over 50 people that were in this.
That's amazing.
Because it's 50, I hope more could have got in. I hope it didn't end just at 50.
Did you cap it? Did these people sign in
advance?
No
cap. There's no cap. They sign in.
Was somebody waitlisted for the Zoom?
Yeah, they were fun. Did you get pictures of the screen?
Yeah. But that's all right. This is good. I'm excited. So if you can, the sooner you can fill out your survey, the more prep we can start doing sooner than later. We're going to run some test classes outside over the next week or so, just to see what that feels like to bring in equipment in and out. Like we said, we're refurbishing the space right now. It's a mess, like with sandpaper everywhere, and like we're recocking the bathrooms and rearranging some equipment, but we want it to feel exciting and new, familiar for sure. But just like we're all having a fresh new start. And again, it's all thanks to you guys. And we couldn't be more grateful. And I'm like busting at the seams with enthusiasm to see you all in whatever form. If it's in person, great. If it's picking up new equipment, great. If it's us dropping it off to you, great. We're all in this together. So.
All right. I guess we're gonna call it a night. That's our note. That's
Brittany, okay.
that's I got it. All right, guys. We hope to see you in person soon. Until then, keep looking for us on the Zoom calls. Keep looking for us on Facebook Lives.
Yeah, reach out with any questions directly. We're here.
We're here.
Yeah.
We'll see you
But
soon.
if you can fill out the surveys, I mean, it's going up right now, right? All right, cheers. Love you all.
Cheers. Love you all.
Bye.
To good health. To good health. Go take a poop, Hassan. All right.
Oh. No dad left, so no poop.
Deadlift day. Best. Love this guy. Oh my God, Phil! Look at you guys. Teresa F.
Yes,
That
brilliant.
Kovacs.
I can't believe more. Where's Courtney?
Bye, guys.
Oh hi! Oh my gosh, can you? Oh, what's going on?
I don't know.
Oh, wait.
Amazing.
What's going on? Is
I
there a
was
baby
about
anywhere
to-
near?
Okay, I just.
I did. Sleeping, right? I hope get some sleep.
You muted?
All right, bye guys. Bye guys.
Bye.
That's Ed. How are you doing?
Who are we talking to?